It is just not been going well for the Dems this week. Here is AOC on CNN.
Rivers in rural areas were on fire because of corporations poisoning the people who lived in those areas. Poor middle-class communities getting poisoned and dumped on by corporations like Deloitte and 3M, pouring chemicals into these places. And they want to call it a democratic priority.
The problem is Deloitte is an accounting, consulting and tax services firm. Great news, my IQ tests came back negative. Can I ask a stupid question? Better than anyone I know. Deloitte's CEO finding out his accountants have been pouring chemicals into the river. This person's question went viral this week. They asked, what kind of job would actually let me afford a house like this? Michael replied, Somali daycare. The FBI is currently raiding all the Somali fraud centres in Minnesota. Catcherd says, I bet it looks like World War XI up there. And in case you didn't see what I'm referencing, here's a throwback to Ilhan Omar and one of her highlights.
These people are just idiots. I really, I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people. The dumbing of the United States has arrived, because how else do we get a Trump presidency again?
The last time the Alien Enemies Act was invoked, it was used to detain and deport German, Japanese, Italian immigrants during World War XI.
Ilhan Omar says Godfather 11 is overrated. And now Geiger Capital is worried that Donald Trump is dragging us into World War XII. God forbid we ever have World War III. Ilhan Omar will think we're on World War 111. Me and the boys after winning World Wars 3 to 11. Matt Walsh said, our founding fathers never even considered the possibility that illiterate third world women would one day be shipped into this country and then elected to Congress. We are discovering a method of national suicide that never entered the minds of the founders. I suppose that was kind of inevitable to happen at some point throughout time, eventually, but unfortunately, we've arrived.
And then she married a brother to come in. I don't know, you're not. But I would imagine they're looking at her. I have nothing to do with it. I would imagine. Of course I have nothing to do. I have nothing, but I believe she married her brother, which is totally illegal. Although it's a lovely couple, actually, but it's a little bit on the illegal side. Darling, I love you very much. Good night, brother. Let's go to bed. Good night. Isn't she despicable? I can't stand watching her. I can't stand. Did you see last month, she accidentally checked the wrong box. It said she was worth $38 million. And law enforcement came after her for that. And then all of a sudden she was worth less than $80,000. And she said it was accounting. It was an accounting error. That was not a very good accountant, was it? No, their whole life is based on fraud and a scam. The whole thing is a scam, and we ought to get those people the hell out of our country.
You see that Trump renamed it instead of ICE? Now it's NICE.
I saw that.
What? It's NICE now instead of ICE.
So now you're protesting NICE.
It's National Immigrations Customs Enforcement.
He's done it again.
That reminds me.
Really, man,
Shit.
our leader.
That's funny.
He's a wild boy.
Still funny.
It is funny calling it nice.
People are starting to say, ICE, you're nice guys. We really appreciate it.
All right. Yeah. What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. Say it again now. What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. He's a mighty, mighty good man. What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. Yes, he is. What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man.
They are such trollers.
Oh, well, this is a country founded by immigrants.
Well, this is a country
This is a
founded
unique
by
country.
This is a very unique country, and it was founded by some immigrants and some settlers. But just because we were founded by immigrants doesn't mean that 240 years later that we have to have the dumbest immigration policy in the world.
These graphics that came out in the last couple of weeks are pretty crazy to look at. Illegal immigrants into the European Union over the years. Every blip in this animation represents 100 people, not just 100 people. It's pretty crazy when you look at it like that. And there was one done for the United States as well. So, okay, here's the Biden years. This week as well, this clip has resurfaced of Jimmy Kimmel making this tasteless joke at Melania about Trump.
Of course, our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
Nation longs for good old days when comedians were funny and didn't wish death upon people. Thank you, Jennifer Harper, for tagging me in this one. Jimmy Kimmel should leave late night TV and join The View with the other women. Oh, as if The View couldn't get any worse. It's not my job to be funny, says comedian. On a more positive note, though, I just wanted to girl out for a minute over Melania Trump's outfit this week when King Charles was visiting. I just think she looks so amazing. Caroline Levitt said Melania is the most beautiful and well-dressed First Lady in history. Christine Mulca tagged me in this and said she looks gentle as a dove, but she's wise as a serpent. And then here is Melania Trump's beehive in the shape of the White House. It is so cool. And a bee landed on Trump's hand. Spencer says every time Trump survives an assassination attempt, he enters a kind of Zen fugue state where he transcends his usual belligerence and radiates unearthly serenity. I wasn't worried, he said after this last one. I understand life. We live in a crazy world. In this photo, he looks like the speaker of Yeats' Lake Isle of Innisfree, gazing dreamily into the respite that awaits him when at last his labour on this earth is done. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honeybee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. This usually lasts about a week before he goes back to thundering obscenities at his enemies and wishing hellfire upon them at the merest provocation. As they often say, future generations just won't believe he was real. Meanwhile, the No Kings crowd greeted King Charles with a standing ovation.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you His Majesty Charles III.
The White House posted 2 kings. King Charles 2026 is saying climate change is our world's greatest threat, whilst President Trump is saying climate change is the biggest scam of our time. King Charles in 2025, though, travelled to speak about the dire effects of climate change and had his Bentley shipped with him to do so. So one thing I will say for King Charles is he knows how to do a handshake, it seems. Adam Schwartz, obviously not a big fan of Trump, said Trump is trying his toxic beta male handshake and Charles is having absolutely none of it. And Matthew responded, that's what happens when you meet a guy whose entire job for decades has been shaking hands. So there you go. If you practice enough, you can dominate the handshake with Trump. People are pointing out a close-up of King Charles's hands. Have you seen his hands? He's a bulldozer. Trump's got it rough with him. It's also what happens when you have hands that look like they regularly and professionally crush granite. So he's got the right hands for the profession.
What do you make of the fact that he was democratically elected, even won the popular vote? How does that make him a king?
It doesn't make him a king. It makes him a president, not a king.
Well, this is called No Kings. So what does that mean to you?
It means we got to get rid of him. He's not a king. It's a democratic process, and we've gone that route with him. Now he's acted like a king.
Can you give me a specific example?
Specific example? Well, there's a million of them all put together. There's no one example. It's
just one or two?
It's more than one or two.
No, can you give me one or two examples?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, I can, I guess. I'm just at a loss of thought here on There's a lot of things.
Okay.
I can't really.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay.
I know what Biden did. I don't agree with all of it, but this is way worse than what any other president
What makes
has
it
done
worse?
in this country. You can't see that? I don't have anything more to say if you don't know.
What makes President Trump a king?
Himself?
What specific policies or actions?
Oh, everything that he does. The man's a fascist.
Can you give me an example?
Oh, boy, of everything that he does. I mean, just tries to put his name on everything.
What specific action or policy is the Trump administration acting like a king?
He wants to be a dictator. He loves dictators. He wants to be a dictator. And
didn't he just remove a dictator from Venezuela?
He went in and stole them.
So he was not a dictator in Venezuela?
He was.
So he removed a dictator.
Has disappeared. There are people that are American citizens that immigrated to this country illegally, and they're gone. Some people.
Can you give me a specific example? Because I'm not aware of any American.
You're not
citizens.
aware of that? It's being in the news.
Can you give me a specific example?
Donald Trump rapes children.
Of an American citizen.
I know it's a setup. What you're
no,
doing.
I want you told me an American citizen has been
can
deported.
look it up, but
that's a big claim. I just want to know.
There are several of them.
Former HVAC guy says, I'm convinced that if Hitler ran against Donald Trump, the Democrats would vote for Hitler. I think that's pretty valid. The drunk Republican says it will always be insane to me that Trump's platform was just like, we should give jobs to Americans and keep criminals in jail, and the left just started foaming at the mouth and trying to kill his ass.
What is your favorite bit of this manifesto?
Objection number 4. As a half black, half white person, you shouldn't be the one doing this. I have no idea what that means.
Wait, who shouldn't be doing it? The white person part or the black person part? It is a very bad manifesto. Hello, everybody.
Yes.
That's not how you start a manifesto. I apologize to my parents for saying I had an interview without specifying it was for Most Wanted.
Haha.
I think the show's America's Most Wanted. I think that's not been on the air for a while. But he's literally going into shtick immediately.
It's kind of indistinguishable from your friends' Facebook pages. I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor, in that order, to coat my hands with his crimes.
By the way, what bad writing. Coat my hands with crimes?
Then he goes through his pecking order of who gets to be killed and who doesn't. And he excludes Mr. Kash Patel.
Yeah, that one also not explained.
Because he's a brown person?
Maybe.
Oh.
They also mentioned that Byron Donalds was safe. If Clarence Thomas is there, you're fine.
Is there talks about you potentially wearing a bulletproof vest moving forward, given you have now been shot at?
I don't know if I can handle looking 20 pounds heavier. These guys, they look so good. Some of these guys are physical specimens. Some of these guys are trouble. They say, get him away from me. I don't want to be near him. If you want to gain 20 to 25 pounds, get a vest.
In this moment where there seems to be an attempt on the president and vice president's life, where there's this active shooting going on, that a lot of people chose this moment to steal. There were a bunch of people over here just taking whole bottles, like, is that Prosecco? Bottles were going into purses. People were just over here. Imagine. We are not a real country. This is... If you steal while you think your life is in danger, you're really a thief.
Media still stumped as to motive of gunman with manifesto titled, Why I'm Going to Kill Donald J. Trump. Well, we've never clocked them for the brightest, have we?
After Virginia's redistricting referendum passed, Dollar Store Obama Hakeem Jeffries said this: Democrats defeated Donald Trump's gerrymandering scheme in Virginia tonight. We will crush the DeSantis dummymander in Florida next. Maximum warfare everywhere, all the time. And a few days after that, you have somebody actually taking up arms and trying to go to war at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So I ask, what are the rules that we're playing by today? Because if Donald Trump saying peacefully and patriotically, march peacefully and patriotically on January 6th, is akin to inciting a violent insurrection, then what is calling for maximum warfare everywhere all the time, and then a few days after that, having somebody try and assassinate the president and his cabinet? What does that count as? I just want to know the rules.
It's a very good point. And then they double down on everything they say, even after all of the negative consequences of it.
Terrorism that you say, well, now we'll never know. What could it possibly be?
Well, they're running away from this story because they know they got their fingerprints all over it. I disagree with Harold. With all due respect, a call for unity is not for us. We don't need it.
He called for it, though.
No, I'm just saying that it's not for me to hear. It's for your side. We don't need it because it's only a one-way thing. You mentioned some examples like the Pelosi thing, which is a mental illness thing. The Wisconsin thing, we still aren't sure what the hell happened there. The Whitmer thing was a plot. Who created the plot? That would take an entire special to go under. I disagree with Jesse. This guy did hear voices. They were Tim Waltz's, they were Ted Lieu's, they were Brandon Johnson's, they were CNN's, they were The View, they were MS Now. Okay. I think this is a helpful assassination attempt because it is the first one to show that you can be radicalized by liberal smugness. If you read his posts and if you read his manifesto, it sounds like every smarmy, sanctimonious, self-satisfied pronouncement from an asshole like Brandon Johnson, like Waltz, like Lieu, the people who think they know better than you. This guy was not a crank. He was not deranged. Don't buy into that narrative because it lets these pompous asses off. He didn't do this because, as Jesse said, he didn't have voices in his head. He was just following orders. He was operating on a filter that said Trump was Hitler, and therefore it would be immoral if you didn't take Hitler out. So his filter is actually making him logical. He's the sanest one in the group because he took them at their word. When MS Now says Trump is Hitler, he's the sensible one. He went out and went after Hitler. Now, if you told him he was wrong, would he listen? No, because you know this guy. You've run into this guy. They think they're right.
Growing up in New York, I was always in rooms with liberals who just assumed I agree with them because I'm liberal passing. What I realized sitting in all those rooms is that liberals, they think that things are copacetic. You know, when we're in an office, you have a friendship with someone who has different political opinions than you do. They think it's because they're forgiving us for being evil. But what they don't realize is we're forgiving them for being retarded.
I'm trans, Norma.
I'm Frankie. Pronouns they, them.
As a transberry, I love living out loud as my most authentic self.
I know I'm safe when I'm with my friends or other non-binary people.
He's the undisputed champion of my heart.
My name is Charles. I use they and them for my pronouns.
Banafi will slay that runway.
Nightshades pronouns are they, them.
He or she just doesn't fit who I am.
Welcome to your crash course in holiday self-expression.
In a viral video doing the rounds this week, a woman trolls a pro-trans school board by walking up and sitting with the members. She declares, "I identify as a board member and my pronouns are I1."
Sophia and I, Heather Fletcher, identify as a Board of Education member, and my pronouns are I1. Okay, I'm ready to get to work. Let's get to work. We're gonna have to do this.
This week, Google co-founder Sergey Brin is coming out as Republican per NYT. The reporting follows Brin's ambitious efforts to kill the California wealth tax, elect a Republican to California governor, and move his residency out of California. He finally expressed his sentiment in a comment to New York Times saying, "I fled socialism with my family in 1979 and know the devastating, oppressive society it created in the Soviet Union. I don't want California to end up in the same place." This person, Cash, rightfully pointed out, people used to come out as gay 20 years ago and now they just come out as Republican. It's true. I mean, are there many things nowadays that are associated with more stigma than being right wing? Took my uncle on his first protest today. Testicular injuries in women's sports. I mean, I'm loving how disgusted the girl in the background looks. Even more so, I'm just loving how happy he looks.
I don't like Black Snake. I don't, and it's not because I don't like black character in my TV show. I think it changes the tone of the character, and not just the skin tone. Everything about it is not good. It completely changes everything and reframes it and makes the whole series look hella racist. I don't know if you remember the first 3 books and movies, but the entire time Harry Potter, with zero evidence, is constantly looking at Snape like, ooh. I just know he's secretly in a criminal gang. And everyone around him goes, why? And Harry just goes, oh. It's just something about him. And I don't like his hair. Professor of the Dark Arts? Yeah, could have guessed that. It's not good. But Snape's backstory is beautiful. He's actually secretly a double agent, or as African-American Snape would say, a snitch. Snape's character is beautiful. He's secretly protecting Harry Potter because, as a child, he was in love with Harry Potter's white mother. But when Harry Potter's white boyfriend found out about this, he hung Snape from a tree. Now, when Snape is white, that looks like high school bullying. When he's black, that's lynching, brother.
America has 133 million registered voters. How could 159 million votes be cast? That's not important. What's important is that you're racist. In case you didn't see it this week, I have to play the clip because it went totally viral where Rosa DeLauro was questioning Lee Zeldin during this hearing, and she just got absolutely annihilated. Lee Zeldin said nothing infuriates an uninformed congressional Dem more than when they realise they voluntarily triggered a debate with someone who actually knows what they are talking about, reads federal statute and adheres to Supreme Court precedent.
When climate change is flooding our streets, poisoning our air, driving up healthcare and disaster costs, how can the EPA justify abandoning that duty to protect Americans to appease polluters under the false flag of economic growth?
Following the law, Section 202 of the Clean Air Act, where does it say anything about fighting global climate change? Loper Bright, Supreme Court case, you familiar with it?
No, I maybe others are not, but let me ask
But
you.
that's really important. As a member of Congress, Loper Bright says that we as an agency don't have the authority to get creative if Section 202 of the Clean Air Act
No, but you don't have, excuse me, you do not have the right
I
to
was
say
actually
climate
answering your
change
questions.
does not exist, that it's a hoax, and that's where this administration
I
is
understand
coming
you're
from.
upset that you don't know what Loper Bright is. Do you know what the major policies doctrine is?
I'm upset because
You know what the
this
major
is-
policies doctrine is?
You know what, let me just
You're a
say
member
this
of
to you.
Congress. You should know.
Well, you have moved from someone who defended the environment to all of a sudden
Being very
making
defensive
a-
about not knowing the 2 biggest landmark Supreme Court cases of the last
and
year
you are
with
very,
regards to your
you are
question.
very defensive about changing your policy and your positions with regard to the environment. Now,
Okay.
you just
Do
tell
you want me
me.
to tell you what the 2 biggest
No,
Supreme
I
Court
want you to
cases
tell
are of the
me-
last few years?
This is what I want you
Michigan
to tell
versus
me.
EPA,
Whoa.
West Virginia versus EPA.
You know, you're here because you need money from us. So halt for the second. and wait for the questions and answer the questions.
Well, I answered your question,
No, you
and
didn't.
you didn't like my answer because
did
you
not
don't know what
answer the
Loper-Bright is,
question.
because you don't know what the major policies doctrine is,
Chairman,
because you're asking me about Section 202 of the Clean Air Act, and you don't read it. You don't know what it says.
Listen, and what you want to do is to deny. You want
No, I actually read the law. I do my homework.
Really?
You're just somebody who likes to have the microphone on. You know what I have to do? I read the law. I read the Supreme Court cases.
I don't have to listen to this, and I would say
No,
this,
what you should do for your constituents is actually read statute.
This budget is at real risk.
Read
Let
your
me tell
Supreme
you,
Court.
This is the Appropriations Committee.
Oh,
you come here.
You care
and
about
you
science?
tell
Now
us-
you're threatening to defund it?
Oh my God! No, you don't fund
Because
science.
you don't know what Loper-Bright is.
climate
Because you don't know what the major policies
You are
doctrine is. Your
climate
message
deniers.
to our folks at the EPA is that you want to
I don't
defund
have
us.
to listen to this BS.
The BS. You think I made up these cases?
Yeah, I think you have made up a whole
I made
lot of
I
BS.
made up Loper-Bright. I made up West Virginia versus EPA. I made up Michigan versus EPA.
Woe is right. What are you doing? Why
Wait,
are you helping
whoa.
polluters?
That was so satisfying. So satisfying to watch. I just absolutely loved the transcript from the Musk versus OpenAI cross-examination this week. The lawyer was repeatedly asking Musk that typical type of question that you get in these trials where they're trying to make you say just a yes or no answer, but whatever way you answer, it's going to make you look bad, and just asking very misleading questions. And of course, Elon was just so Elon about it. He said, "You're being misleading. What you're saying is false." The lawyer tried again with a different loaded frame, and Musk responded, "Your questions are not simple. They're designed to trick me." Savitt, the lawyer, demanded a yes or no answer to a complicated question. And Musk said, "If you ask a question where there is no possible simple answer, I must give a longer answer because any simple answer would be misleading the jury." Musk reaches for an analogy and he says, "The classic answer to a yes or no question is not so simple. For example, if you ask the question, 'Will you stop beating your wife?' Judge Gonzalez-Rogers cuts him off and says, 'No, we're not going to go there,' and the courtroom laughed. Savitt apologized for the question, and Musk said, "I find it funny you saying it wasn't an unfair question since you're only asking unfair questions." And the lawyer says, "I'm doing my best," and Musk says, "That is not true." Good luck to the lawyer who has to try to break Elon Musk. So I just wanted to end with some good news stories this week because there were actually quite a few. Let's start with a lighthearted one. A farewell video to Nancy Pelosi with her best moments as she retires from Congress this year. One of the best stock traders in American history.
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you...
Remember when I was young and so you.
Into a smile or applaud, nothing I
Veterans are the backbone.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it. This glorious day possible. That's an applause line.
Remember when
E pluribus unum, for many one. And so I said, for many one.
Remember when.
This one I'm very happy to hear about. A former senior advisor to Anthony Fauci has been indicted for his role in the COVID-19 cover-up. This guy might throw Anthony Fauci under the bus. David Morans and his co-conspirators falsified records in an effort to suppress the lab leak theory and used his personal Gmail account rather than his NIH email in order to avoid being FOIA'd. Fauci might just be next. This one just made me laugh this week. Nick Shirley said, "Tim Walz called me a far-right delusional conspiracy theorist and said exposing the fraud in his state was white supremacy. It was the classic false smear tactic that has worked for so long, but it didn't work this time. Tim was exposed and dropped out. Tim leered." Yes, he did. More good news. The Southern California city of Westminster has officially installed Charlie Kirk Way signs to honour the late conservative activist. I'm delighted to hear that. That is like the minimum that his memory deserves. This is just another story that I was delighted to hear about. After seeing this poor girl, Savannah Hernandez, being assaulted by these far left protesters, I guess you could call them. She was doing reporting for Turning Point USA, and the way they acted was appalling. She's put out an update saying, turns out that Chris Page and Diana will all be facing federal charges for assaulting me. It was initially reported that only 2 of the 3 would be facing charges. However, acting AG Todd Blanche has just announced that all 3 were indicted and will be facing charges. Thank you to the DOJ and FBI for doing everything they can to ensure that justice is fully served in this case. I'm incredibly grateful to see our justice system at work. I just think it's so important that we see repercussions for that kind of behaviour. And lastly, we knew it was coming, but it has arrived. The United States has completed its withdrawal from the WHO. This is a major victory for national sovereignty and medical freedom. The same global health establishment that failed during COVID should never again control American policy. We will not be ruled by unelected bureaucrats. Well done, RFK Jr. Honestly, hopefully they can prevent anything like what happened during COVID from ever happening again. So before I go, I just wanted to say thank you so much to those of you who supported my channel through the Buy Me a Coffee platform this week. I so appreciate your donations, and I just wanted to give you guys shout outs. One person anonymously signed up for a membership, so thank you so much to you. I really appreciate your support. Raymond, thank you so much as well. They said, my wife and I are retired and in our 70s. We love your program, and you seem like such a kind, sweet girl, not burdened with out of control leftist emotions. We pray that you know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, because he has done so much for us and will for you too. I especially get a kick out of your accent, especially when you say RFK Jr. Thank you so much, Raymond. Sending lots of love to you and your wife. And this is just such a beautiful message, and I'm so glad to hear from you, so thank you so much. I hope you keep enjoying the channel. And lastly, somebody else also gave an anonymous donation, so thank you so much to you too for your kindness and your generosity. So thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this one, and don't forget you can tag me in funny clips and memes on X. Don't forget that you can also watch these videos on Rumble and X. And I hope you have a great week. I'll see you next time.